welcome to another Musician Reacts. Today we are checking out some Alip and his cover of the Seal song, Kiss from a Rose. I'm trying to think, was that was on one of the Batman, was that Batman Forever soundtrack? Song, I think it was. Anyway, looking forward to checking this one out. I do know the original, so I've got a reference point to go to. Usual blurb's going to come across the bottom of the screen. Remember, no pausing during the video, no talking over the top, and I'll share my thoughts and feelings at the end. Let's do this. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so Alip and Kiss from a Rose, originally done by Seal. Very beautifully played. I think I really like about his videos, specifically in most of the cases, he puts his tunings, whether it's in a standard tuning. So he's tuned his guitar in such a random tuning. It's so we've got a D string, so he's tuned it down a step. Second string he's tuned up a step. Next string he has tuned up 3 steps. Next one after that he's tuned down 2 steps. So he's up and down in all of his tunings. Unless he's reversed that. Actually, no, maybe that's the other way around. That seems strange. Okay, so it's the other way around. So he's tuned down half a step, down a full step, in the standard, in standard, in standard, and then down half a step. So he's dropped it by half, and then in some cases dropped it by a whole step down. Sorry, he's put his string order in the opposite direction to what I would normally expect. But very interesting. It's great from my point of view when you're trying to do a collaboration to understand what tuning he's gone into, because when I pull up like the guitar tablature for the song, when I'm trying to understand where he's gone with it, because what he's got is what he's playing is he'll be working the root notes, partial bass melody, and obviously the lead melody. So the guitar undertone, which I'll be trying to work on, is what are the root chords so that I can add an accompaniment to it, whether it's a bass line or a lead guitar line, just a rhythm melody underneath. So I'll need to know, which means the original song may be in a completely different key, and when I then transpose it and work it out, I might be playing something that sounds off. And in a couple of cases I found that recently. The other thing I found out with doing some songs, so I'm currently working on Deal Over, and actually what he's obviously done, he's tuned his guitar to standard. So that means he's doing it E through down to the following E. So he's basically working through a standard tuned guitar. But when I've put my guitar into standard, locked in on standard tuning, I've actually found out he's a few fractions off that. So he's obviously played it a few times through and he's slightly lost the tuning, but only by a fraction. But when you then lock in on a dead on and he's slightly off on a fraction, it sounds odd. So trying to then record when someone is slightly off a fraction, it always sounds like you're slightly off, and it makes it a little bit more challenging to get your recording, because you can play lovely accompanying parts to help support what he's doing, and it just sounds off, and that's why it's taken longer on a few of the more recent collaborations, because it's just not sounding quite right. But I'll get there, and I'll get something new out for the channel or over on Dave Does fairly soon. What I liked on this one as well, it had some really nice use of the bends. It's got all its usual techniques. It looks effortless as always. It's a beautiful song. It's very easy to sing along with anyway, as you will have noticed in the background of the video. I know the song well enough to know all the lyrics, so I could sing along with it, and it was beautiful. It is slightly slower than the original. I would say probably slowed down by about 10% slower than the original song. Roughly, it's not slowed down as the last song I did, which was the Tony Braxton Unbreak My Heart. That was definitely slowed down a lot more, probably by about 20-30%, but this was a 10% reduction in speed. And just from a drumming point of view, you can feel that's a little bit more, you're waiting to push that hit on the cymbal, and you're kind of it just feels a little bit more laborious drum. So again, if I was to do a collaboration on this song, I would need to probably speed it up by about 10% just to make it flow a little bit more easier for me. But thumbs up from me as always on Alip. Great little cover, and I always look forward to checking his songs out. Now, if you like the video, please do subscribe, click the bell icon, like and share. Remember, that of course is how a musician reacts.